are. Look at us. Get a little closer. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching. Today I'm thrilled to welcome Joseph Melluso, a true seafood legend. And here in my kitchen, what a catch. Joseph, there's nothing Joseph doesn't know about the fish, so we're gonna do everything that is possibly imaginable with fish. And he has actually a really interesting journey because he started working at the fish market when he was only 11 years old. And then throughout his life, he opened over 50 restaurants across America. How incredible is that? How did that all started, Joseph? This is unbelievable, and welcome.
Thank you. First, I want to thank you for having me here. Edvina, you're
it's a pleasure.
Quite a lady and quite a chef, and I'm honored to work with you.
And likewise, and I love Joseph's beautiful chef's jacket. So his restaurants called Tin Fish across America. We'll talk about them and how is it possible to actually have 58 restaurants. It's unbelievable. And you did it all pretty much by yourself.
Well, I've had help from great people throughout the years, and I've been really blessed. And my passion has always been fish. When I was 11 years old, my stepfather asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I told him I wanted a job. And so he got me a job washing and waxing the floors in his beauty salon, and next door was a fish market in Islip, Long Island. And
you slipped in Long Island.
I slipped in Long Island, yes.
Right into that fish market. But let me welcome you with a little bit of champagne before we continue.
I like this.
All right. You've seen me do this sometimes.
You're savoring.
I'm savoring this
champagne. I
champagne
like when you savor.
It's so much fun, and it totally will work with our beautiful fish. Look at all these gorgeous fishes that Joseph actually brought to my kitchen.
As good as I am with knives, I've always been afraid to savor.
Maybe I'll teach you if you want to.
I would like that.
Because Joseph is going to teach me how to fillet, cut, prep, to do all of those techniques that are so intimidating and challenging for most of us, correct? So we could exchange some techniques, right? Let's have some champagne.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
I love it.
All right, there we go.
Salute.
Salute. Perfect cut and perfect sip. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. To the day, to fish.
Salute.
Thank you, Edvina.
Let's go back to the beginning and tell me what it was like working at the market as an 11-year-old boy. It's just, it takes a particular character.
Like a child or a teenager. I always felt like I was one of the men, being around all the older gentlemen that were in the fish market, in the fish business, and I learned from all of them. Everyone taught me a little different technique, and from cutting to deboning, tying, cooking, stuffing, filleting, skinning. We would have contests, and whoever was the slower person had to buy the drinks for the day. So I started drinking at a young age.
Right.
From losing and then becoming champion at cutting fish and not losing as I got older. But it took a few years. That is
unbelievable. And we are very lucky to learn from you today, Joseph. And I'm very excited because we're going to basically be making a very pure, clean type of crudo because we have such fresh catch today. And since Joseph is just going to do the whole thing and show us how to prep it properly, so I thought it would be the best just to use pure Italian flavors. Just, we need just salt, olive oil, and some acid. So it will be citrus, some capers, and salt and olive oil. And olive oil here is from Italy.
I brought this from a friend of mine, John Pravacci, Sr. He's the owner of the Olive Grove in Sicily, and he brought this special bottle, had it sent to my house as a gift.
How lucky we are to taste this beautiful
yes,
olive oil. I actually smelled
really precious.
Smelled it a little.
Has a little peppery finish.
Yes, so beautiful. Wow, I just love a great quality olive oil. So
one of the things I always try to focus on with people that I train, people that work for me in the fish restaurants, is knife sharpening. And the 1378 Dexter Russell is a knife that was given to me at a young age.
Here it is,
guys. I've put it on my chef coat
jacket.
As my
makes a lot of sense.
Signature.
It is definitely your
One
signature. You want to show us how to sharpen it correctly?
And I like teaching that everyone has their own grip and their own angle.
Yes.
And so once you establish your angle, there's so many different techniques. People have sharpen like this, people have sharpen like this on both sides. But what I've established from a guy that taught me, his name was Chris McManus,
yes,
is to really have the knife grab, and you can hear it and feel it when it grabs.
Oh, it's so smooth.
And a diamond steel is my favorite steel. There's all different types, and I like the flat diamond steel. So once you have that locked in and established, you really don't want other people to sharpen your knives. You want to keep your angle and
touch,
take care of your edge that you've honed in on and learned. And so there's this smooth knife sharpening technique.
That is.
And every time you sharpen a knife, you should clean it, because you'll get
the residue,
metal residue, and that's how you know that you're really honing the edge, because you'll wind up with metal on the knife. But may I fillet a fish now?
Let's see what we have.
So we have a lane snapper from Panama, some fluke from the Carolinas, and yellowtail from the Keys.
So let's do the yellowtail.
Okay.
So Joseph will show us right now how to properly fillet from start to finish, and we're gonna have this delicious crudo.
A lot of times I'll see people cut fish and they think that they're just coming across, but there's meat up in here. It's really important to come on an angle up into the head and pick up the meat that's there.
Okay.
If we were to be deboning it to stuff it, we would leave the collar on and not make the cut that I just did.
So this is the collar. Let me show
Yep.
everyone so they could see. This is the collar, and this is the part that you have to go closer so you could still use that meat.
And once you feel your knife on the bone and you're just guiding and sliding,
yes,
you can really feel the rib cage that's here. There's 10 bones, and you want to kind of angle your knife and cut up on those so that you don't pick them up.
You don't get it into
the rib cage. Yes.
Your meat. I could make it a little closer for you guys to see that. This is absolutely unbelievable. It takes a second to master this technique, but we will have a little bit of more, practice to really learn this. But it's so beautiful, and I could see how clean, and it's just perfect. Beautiful fish.
Thank you.
And you've been doing this for so many years, and maybe you could give us also some tips how to pick the right fish. There are so many fishes out there, and we get confused, and lots of people are afraid to actually.
When you're out shopping, there's the checking of the eyes is really key. When you have eye clarity, color, coloring in the fish, and you can see the different details of the markings of the fish and the coloring of that'll fade after a few days.
Oh, that means the fish is not going to be fresh.
Right, and it won't be as detailed.
And how, I know you used to also, so Joseph lived in New York, right?
Yes.
You were born
Born in Brooklyn,
born
grew
in
up on Long
Brooklyn,
Island.
and there is so much fish industry in New York and all of those areas, especially we have the fish from Long Island, right? And I know that you used to work at the famous Fulton Fish Market. Do you have any crazy stories to share?
Of course, of course. There was a lot of activity that went on, and being exposed to different family members of the Fulton Fish Market. Our cousins and uncles were fishmongers and stall owner operators. Everyone sold a different product, specialized in bringing in different fish from different areas, and it was really what molded me and shaped me in my passion for the business.
Yes, and it's been an incredible journey for you. And when you started as an 11-year-old boy, actually just cleaning the fish market, and at 16 you bought that market, correct?
17,
17
yeah.
years old. How unbelievable
And
is
got
that?
married.
At 17.
Yeah, I got married before I was 18.
I thought I got married too early and had a baby at 19, but you beat me.
Wow.
Wow, this is it's very different for a male, right, to get married that early. And my culture.
I thought I was a man.
Oh, exactly. You are a man. You are a man, and you are the most generous, the kindest, the sweetest person I've ever met. And you know, I've met Joseph just a couple of months ago, and I fell in love with him, with his beautiful soul, beautiful energy, because he is just this pure human being that is so true to himself and just so open and so special. It's really rare to meet people like this, so I'm really grateful for our new friendship.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel the same way.
Let's
about you.
continue with the
Okay.
fish. So we're gonna before you remove the skin,
Yes.
we have to you're gonna do the other side as well.
I will do the other side.
So
And would you like me
color
to
is so-
fillet towards the camera?
yes, probably would be better for people to learn from you, because it's not so often to have someone so profound and professional in this particular thing, because filleting a fish, and not just filleting but doing many things with it, it's very complicated. You know, I've been to many fish markets around the world, and this is one of my things that I do. I travel when I travel, and one of my favorite markets was in Lima, Peru, and another one was in Japan, not in Tokyo. That name of the city, it's very difficult, but I'll remember it. I actually have some content about it that we will still post later, but it was when the boats come right to the shore and there is an auction right in front of you, and then it goes to the market and then people can buy it. So that was the type of place in Japan. That was really my favorite markets, in Lima and then Japan. Is there a particular market that you really love?
Well, the only market that I really was exposed to was the Fulton Fish Market.
Okay.
I've been to some smaller markets through Italy in my travel in Spain, France.
Lots of good seafood in all of those countries, right?
Yeah. But you know, having the daily interactive energy of my time in the Fulton Fish Market was just.
How many years have you
witness.
have you been there for?
From 70 to 84, 85.
Oh, like 15 years. It's a long journey.
So we're going to skin this fish and then lay it out and make the crudo.
So
You want to do the crudo right on the rack?
Yeah, actually, I thought it would be such a great idea for you guys. Look, when you are able to actually fillet your own fish, look at this beautiful carcass. You could use it as a platter, and I think it's a really unique way to plate your fish. It's really unique, and
I do this
it has a
presentation.
wow effect.
I do this presentation at our restaurants where people buy the whole fish, and then I dissect it where we're doing sashimi.
Yes.
And then I take the belly trim and the tail, which are not perfect cuts, and do them lightly floured and cornstarched flash fried really quick, and I'll lay them out on the fish and do some
so
sauces.
nice. That's really cool. So how do you properly remove the skin, and to make sure you save that, you know?
May I have the blue
Yeah.
handle knife? I prefer a more narrow knife, and
Okay.
I like to make a straight cut down to the skin.
Because you have better control.
Well, you kind of create a little handle for yourself where you can pull the
Yes.
skin back and make the skin kind of stretched and tight. And then when you go to skin, I try to teach people where you almost have to imagine you're shaving your grandfather's face. And so you want the knife to kind of feel like you're really shaving the skin. And as your knife is tight to the skin, you'll always get...
Oh, you get it all right in there. This is unbelievable. I gotta practice.
And your skin should be nice and clean like that.
Perfection. Master.
And in doing the crudo, we'll take out this little line of dark meat and the bone.
Yeah, there's always bone left in the center, so we don't wanna, we just remove it, right?
Yes. And this is the bone line right here.
There's no point of picking it out, it's just removing. It's quick and easy, and you don't wanna eat that anyway, that part.
So we'll trim this and get rid of that.
Okay.
This will be nice and clean for us to do our crudo.
Beautiful, look at this beautiful fillet that is done so perfectly. Stunning. And it's a local fish, local grouper.
Well, this is yellowtail from the Keys.
Yes.
And then we have the lane snapper from Panama.
That snapper is stunning. I love the color of it. It's so bright and beautiful.
I was going to bring a grouper, but I didn't like it. I have the flute filleted already.
So why didn't you like it? Tell us all
those tips. It just wasn't fresh enough.
Tips. How do we know that?
You know, it probably had 5 days on it, had a little fragrance that I didn't like.
So he knew that it's 5 days.
You can
just by looking at the fish. And
yes.
It had some smell.
Yep.
So very important to always, when I actually go to the market, I ask the person to let me smell the fish. That's what I always do. And sometimes they look at me like I'm crazy, but I know what I'm doing. I want the freshest fish. Well, who would you say influenced a lot on your cooking style, on the way you like preparing your seafood and fish?
My casual style was Ralph Reale in the first fish market that I was at. But then my kind of polished style came from Giuliano Bugiali from Tuscany. I studied with him in New York in 79 to 82. And I learned a real polished finesse to seasoning and cooking and making homemade pasta. And
beautiful, proper Italian.
We did a lot of fish cooking because he knew that, you know, that was my thing. I would take him to the Fulton Fish Market. He lived in Manhattan. I would pick him up early morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we'd go. He didn't want to get up too early. I would like to go in earlier, but he came in a little later. I recently had his secretary come into my fish market, and when she heard that that I had, you know, the time with him,
yes,
she said she had all of his notes, and I thought it might be a good thing to kind of rebirth his notes and do something like a tribute to Giuliano Bugiali, and I named my son after him.
Oh, how old is your son?
My son's 34, and
that is so special that, you know, you will always remember him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very, very beautiful.
I named him as a tribute to Chef Bugiali. So we'll cut this, and if you would like to cut it.
Let's show me how to, I know, but I want to learn from you because there's always space to learn.
I always like to sensitivity, you know, feel my hand on the meat rather than to just cut freely, so that I can really control the tightness of the cutting. And when you want to get thin and you want to get nice tight pieces, would you like to season it on a plate or season it right on the fish?
I will do it right on the fish.
Okay.
I will prepare the seasoning separately. So you could just drizzle things on it, but I'm just gonna whisk a little sauce into my little platter. So I actually really love using lemon peels, and instead of microplaning, I would like to actually do cut it by hand. So it's more that lemon zestiness and that delicious citrus brightness on the fish. So I'm just gonna use a peeler to make sure that it's pretty thin, and then I'm gonna chop it into very, very, very thin, fine pieces. What inspired you to open tin fish restaurants?
Tin fish was a culmination of all of my training and background. And I really looked to keep the concept simple, fresh, grilled, and healthy. The breading was taught to me. A black woman had come into the fish market, and she said, if you're going to cook for black folks, you need to learn how our style is. And she came in with what today is my signature breading, and she brought all the ingredients, and she said, this is the recipe. And I've been doing it for
That's amazing.
like 50 years.
So what is that particular technique like? Is it something?
Well, it's 4 spices and 2 different
Flowers?
grains, flour, yeah. And it's been, a lot of people have said, what's in this and what's it made of?
It's very different.
So we do a seasoned breadcrumb and a extra fine cracker meal with 4 different spices.
That's interesting. You guys have to check out the tin fish restaurants. How many do you still have?
There's 2 in San Diego,
Okay.
Indiana, in Newburgh, Indiana. It's a 2-story building that Morgan Close has just built, designed, and purchased the land. She started with me as a cook in the kitchen, and I turned to her one day and said, it's time for you to be an owner. And she said, I don't have the money. And I said, it's not about the money. It's about you have the ability to be an owner.
That is so beautiful.
And we financed her, and she now
is the owner.
as the owner, and of many years, she has children, has bought homes from it, the success of it, and she does a really great job.
That's what I said, that Joseph is one of the most generous person I've ever met. His soul is very, very gentle, and he cares about people. It's not always about the money, and I like that.
My life's never been that way about the money. I've been really blessed with nice...
Doing what you love, and
Yep.
you had quite a life. And is there a turning point in your life that kind of switched the whole thing for you, since you were a man as a kid, getting somewhere, and something changed and took off for you?
Well, a couple of times in my life, I've had those changes in dynamic experiences. One of them that comes to mind is, I had just studied with Giuliano Bugiali, and a woman came into my fish market and asked me to cook for her. And
it was your fish market at that point?
It was my fish market. It was the Seafood Terrace in Oceanside, New York.
Okay.
And she asked me to cook for her and do a dinner party. I didn't really know who she was. When I was there at the end of the event, I kind of discovered who she was. Very famous woman, and my life changed. I started catering for high-end, very special people throughout Long Island and New York, and it really was a change in my life to be exposed to a whole nother level of life and money and cooking and catering.
And I bet those years were very special, and you still cherish them.
Absolutely.
That's so cool. And I know you have a lot of fun stories, which are so interesting and very inspiring. So I have here some lemon juice, and we will add some of this olive oil, and I'm gonna whisk it into it to prepare our pure, delicious sauce for our crudo. Some people are purists. I'm a flavorist, but today I'll go for purist. And this type of fish, I would say it's better to go for pure flavor because it's super fresh. So I have the sauce, which is very simple, and I just want to show you. I cut into very fine kind of strips lemon because I like that zestiness from it. And capers, we have some beautiful capers and we have some caper berries. So just, yeah, when you do this,
I love the lemon zest.
yeah, make sure, you know, you don't take the white part, that's where the bitterness is. So we want to make sure when we use, that's why I like using the peeler, because the peeler will actually secure this for you. You're not gonna get into the white part, which is really bitter. So you're just really getting the zest itself. And that way, when you taste it, it's just pure
nice lemon
zest.
flavor.
Yeah, very beautiful flavor. We have
May you pass the champagne again.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Let's cheer.
Thank you.
To our time together, and I appreciate this beautiful time. And what are the biggest mistakes people actually make when they do crudos? I do a lot of crudos, but I always want to learn more from someone like you. It's the best tip.
I think over seasoning is probably the biggest mistake, or cutting it too thick so you can't enjoy the texture of it.
Oh, agree about that. Yep. Cutting it properly is very important.
I would like to get a plate and maybe do the rest of this on another plate.
Sure, let's do that. I have here another plate for you.
Thank you.
So we have, I'm gonna remove the skin for now. Would you fry the skin for any particular things?
You know, I've
or
never
not
done that. I've never done where, you know, Japanese style is
Yes.
salmon skin or fried skins, and I've never really
Got into that. It's
have
something,
done that at all.
It's something that, you know, either you like it or dislike it, right? It's not for everyone. I'm not very much into the skin, but I did try at one restaurant in Japan. They actually cut it in a particular way, the skin, it becomes like spiky. And when they fry it, it's unbelievable. But that's, you know, another technique to learn. So how do you ensure the freshness and the quality for your seafood across all your locations?
It's hard. It's a lot of work. We send things back. You know,
You do that.
we do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would do the same.
Just last week, some fish came in. It was a swordfish, and it was soft, and it wasn't caught the day before. And I'm pretty fussy with our purveyors. We have great relationships with our purveyors. Mm-hmm. But every now and then, if they're not in the warehouse, the packers will grab what they want to grab, and you don't get what you deserve or want.
It is very difficult to control the quality, but this is the only way to have a successful restaurant, especially when it's seafood driven, right?
Yes.
Do you have any favorite parts of your job as opposed to not so favorite ones?
I love when I'm cooking for people, when I'm personally there cooking for people. And I love training. I love training when somebody is interested in the lesson, mm-hmm. And they respect that moment of learning something about something. Because I even learn from my employees. I love when they show me something and I learn from them, and I'm like, wow, I've never thought of that. I've never seen that.
This is the
and
thing
the
with
respect
food.
that gets exchanged is so profound, because you never know who you're going to learn from. I've learned from dishwashers who came into my kitchen and said, why is this here? I see you do that every day and you're reaching, and that item should be here. And I'm like, I've never seen that. I've never noticed that. I never thought like that. And it made my life easier.
Yes,
From
absolutely.
someone stepping into the environment that just sees something different than we do.
Yes, I actually did learn something from Chef Will that was here last week. And for example, when you make a guacamole ahead of time a little bit, a few hours before, you don't want that avocado to turn brown. So you have to seal it with a plastic container, the cover, very tight. That way there is no air and it doesn't get brown. I didn't know that. It was so cool to learn. Thank you, Chef Will. And also we have here few types of salts. I have here citrus salt, Malden, and this salt is very special to me because Elizabeth Carmel made it for me. She used Malden salt and hibiscus flowers, so she made her own salt and she brought it for me, and this is so exciting.
That's beautiful.
So Elizabeth, I will use this today
Color
on
is great.
our fish. Yes, color is beautiful pink, like my dress. So I'm gonna pour some of this beautiful sauce on the fish, but not, again, we're not gonna overdress it, just slightly. And we're gonna taste it with our champagne and some capers. So this is very pure Italian, basically, style, right? Just citrus, olive oil, capers, and we're gonna do a little twist with hibiscus salt, which is gonna create a really stunning color for us. And some lemon zest, the one that I just made. And look how pretty this looks.
I like that.
How gorgeous is this fish? Would you have done anything different if you would go back in time?
Oh my God.
It's a good one, huh?
I would be a lot smarter man if I could go back in time.
Well, I know what you're saying. A lot of things we realize later in life, but you started your such adult life at such young age that you can't, be hard on yourself.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah.
Could you also give an advice to someone whose dream is to open their own restaurant? Because I don't know anyone
I was shopping the other day and
one.
someone asked me that question, and I said the first thing is you really have to discover your own passion and what you want to be obsessed about. And through that, finances is one thing, to be able to have the money to do a project, but not always is it about the money.
The money is secondary. I absolutely agree with you. You have to find the passion, like you said, and know the concept, exactly what you want to do with it, right?
Yes.
I am ready to taste this beautiful fish.
Let's do that.
Let's do that. Here is a fork for you.
Voila.
Voila. So, I'm gonna go for it.
I think it would be lovely if we had some wine.
I think it would be.
Buongiorno, buongiorno.
Look at the surprise over
miss
here.
me?
I miss you. Wow. Two Italians.
Giuseppe.
I have to make a wish. I have two Italians in the kitchen.
Buongiorno.
Oh my
Hi
God.
to all of you. What a pleasure, guys, to see
Wow.
you again.
Thank you.
What a
Welcome.
pleasure
Come in here.
What a pleasure to be with
So,
you, Giuseppe.
you're gonna save us, huh?
Master Chef.
Paesano.
Come stai?
Bene, bene.
Bene. I see you drinking champagne.
This
champagne.
is so good.
I have a wine pairing,
I can't believe it.
if you don't mind.
I'm so excited. What a surprise. This is the style you
Wow.
like.
Yeah.
Very clean.
Plain.
Yeah, plain.
No.
Because he was complaining
No
last time that
chili.
when I made actually my crudo with spicy, he's like, you're killing the wine.
What do we have here?
Giuseppe, I see you drinking champagne French, but I always, have my Italy in my heart. But in this case,
We like that.
In this case, we are exactly in Sicily. We are on the feeds from the Etna Vesuvio. It's a project. It's a project from Angelo Gaia. Angelo Gaia, if you know wine, Angelo Gaia, he's really famous in Piemonte, and he started making a lot of projects around Italy from Toscana, and he made this project with Garci, which is a really famous producer from Etna Vesuvio, and he produced a caricante, will be like salty, smooth sensation. I think to a fish, it's important you don't go
I love the
fish.
depth of your knowledge of wine.
He is so profound in his knowledge.
Caricante, we're always talking about like originally grapes from Sicily, salty sensation but smooth, full body white. Like imagine to be in the summer in Italy on the beach and eating something like that.
Bye everyone, I'm going
And
to the
then
beach.
You drink
I want to
Caricante.
fulfill that fantasy.
Can we actually taste this now?
Of course.
It sounds
You have to.
so delicious and so exciting, but I want to taste it
I'm
with this
going back to
fish.
Italy soon. Don't be jealous. This is something that
We're going to be jealous. We are jealous already.
This is something I do almost every day home if I can.
I can't wait to have my Italian summer and have you there to actually introduce me to more exciting wines.
Salute.
Salute.
Thank you for
Thank you so much.
allowing me to
One more question
work
for
with you. Yes.
If you had your dream guest at your dinner table, who will it be?
Oh my God.
Before we go.
I guess it would be to have Pujali back.
Aw. That is very special. I got goosebumps.
He influenced my life in so many ways.
You're such a special person, Joseph. I love your emotions.
You're an example, chef.
You don't hide.
Huh?
Example.
Maybe you can give me some advice if I want to open 50 restaurants.
Oh, here you go. You have
It's been a great
someone
career.
perfect for you. And what is next for you, Joseph? What's your continuation journey?
I'm not really sure. I'm getting ready to have some life changes and focus on my family, writing.
Writing, you like writing?
Yeah.
That's special. I would love to read.
I want to write.
You must write a book, and you must shoot a movie about your life, because we didn't even touch a quarter of what Joseph has done in his life.
That's part of my intended journey.
Joseph, someone is telling me that you have a surprise for me.
Wow.
Is that right? A little bird chirped in my ear. Or a little fish.
In 1997, I was in Rome. And my back was to the Pantheon. And I looked to the left, and there was a
So good.
a gallery. And I was looking for the coin that I said I bought recently to give you. And as I was looking for the coin, I couldn't find it. And I came across this ring that I bought, and it's a vintage piece. It's
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, this is incredible. Oh my God.
I've had it, and I've never done, anything with it or felt drawn to
This is so unique.
giving it to anyone, but it's a great old piece. They said it was from the 1500s.
No way.
And it was in an antique store. And I bought it with some lapis beads, a beautiful strand of lapis beads. And this was another piece that I picked up that time. And
I've never
I'm not
seen
sure
anything like this.
the history of it, other than they said it was from the 1500s. It was a very old piece. And
Wow, thank you, Joseph.
you're welcome.
Wow.
You're so kind.
And if I find the Armenian coin ring that I bought, I would like to give it to you, since you have that background.
So much. You are so wonderful, and I adore you. I'm very grateful to have you
Thank you.
here at my show and
This
in
was
my
wonderful.
life. Thank you, too.
Faizan.
All right,
We're gonna
guys.
come visit
Thank
you
you
in
so much for
Italy.
watching.
Thank you so much.
And keep coming back every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern, because I will bring more special, unique guests to your lives. And it's such a beautiful gift for me to have all these wonderful people. And it's so, for me, meaningful to share their stories and their talents with the world. Please hit subscribe, and see you soon.
Thank you, Edvina.
Cheers.
Salute.
Salute.
Salute, ragazzi.